Are we live? Let's see. I think we are, aren't we? Just takes a minute. It could be my computer. Oh, there we go. We're live now. So welcome back to this online business Facebook Live, just to keep you informed of what you can do, what's happening online, and how you can tap into it if you're wondering if you have a job or not, if you're just wanting to take a totally different direction in life with your work and look at other ways of earning money or even setting up your own business. So we had a very positive response last night. I was actually a bit surprised myself. So I've been inundated, I think that's the best word to say, with different questions and things like that. So I'm going to do my best to get through those tonight. I'm on for another hour. I think it's safe to say there's enough now to keep us going, even for tomorrow night. So I'm happy to do that if there's enough interest and enough questions to keep us going. So I am trying to keep some structure to it as well. And I talked last night about the online business life cycle. Okay, so there's 8 different steps. I was having a hard time trying to show you that on the phone. I was a wee bit in the dark last night as well with the lighting, so hopefully I'm a bit more lit up tonight. To say in Belfast, keep her lit. So you'll be able to see me. I went all high tech. I was like myself, how can I best show this? Jim McConnell. Of course, I remember you. You're a big IT geek as well. Nice to see you, Jim. Thanks for saying hello. See, there's a few other people on there, but you're not saying hello. Just come on and say hi. Let me know who's watching. Lovely to see you, Jim. Long time no see. Ballymena man. So, yeah, so I went all high tech, Jim. You'll appreciate this. Because I was trying to show the life cycle on my phone rather than everybody jump off and go to my Facebook page or website and then come back on. So I got a good old pen and paper and did out the life cycle this way. So last night we were talking about setting goals for your business, you know, how important it is to actually know by it's like putting a destination in your sat nav. You need to know where you're going. Otherwise, you'll just keep driving and you'll not know when you get there. So tonight, then, I thought we'll follow the logic and go with niche analysis as well. Thank you, Sarah. Nice to see you on. So this is all about the market research, and this is actually about finding out if you actually have customers online. And there's Vigner. Hi, Vigner. Nice for you to say hello. Just let me know who's on. If you have any questions, just fire them at me. I will get to them. Don't worry. I'm just trying to follow some sort of structure. I had loads of questions last night, and in the meantime, about podcast, ebooks, what else? YouTube. We were actually working with Madge. She had given us an example of what she was doing, so we worked with that. So if you're pulling your hair out with something, internet technology or marketing wise, business wise, then fire it into the pot there. I'm happy to look at that. So yes, so that's the next step we're looking at tonight. Now, if you want to look at branding and developing your site, so at this stage, when you're at this stage, you're still planning. You're not actually registering anything. You're not getting any logos done, things like that. That's the mistake that everybody makes. Everybody makes the mistake of trying to be everything to everybody. And the only person who's done that successfully is Amazon. They're the only ones that really have found a way to bring everybody together online. Everybody else just has to find their little niche. So rather than keep going wide with it the way Amazon has, like find your niche and then go deep with it. That's the secret. That's the key to success online. And that's been true for the last, when did I start? 2001. So that's been, you know, the key factor in that. So doing your plan and finding out if there's a market online and then testing it. And I'm going to talk about some of the ways you can test it. I've actually called this the Goldilocks strategy, so I don't think you'll enjoy that. I like to keep IT fun. Jim will tell you as well. I think you're more of a techie than me, Jim. But I can be, I was laughing last night with the Google book I have, because it has, when I bought it, it has a half price sticker on it. You know, this is sort of stuff I was reading back in the day. But it's just nice to see how these guys did it and how they went about it, you know, a bit like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. But, you know, it says buy one, get one half price. And that was back in 2005. You know, maybe more people are interested now. But it's that sort of subject that, yes, we'd all would love to get something going online, have money, you know, sitting there ticking over and coming in. But there is a bit of work behind it. Or you can find the right people and knowledge and do it yourself. There's Patrick back again. Nice to see you. To see you nice, as they say, as Brucey says. So yes, niche analysis. So finding some of the Americans will call it niche. If you listen to any American stuff, they'll talk about your niche. But in the UK and Ireland, we talk about niche. So first of all, it's finding out, are there actually any people out there that actually are looking for your product or service? And how do you go about doing that? And can anybody hazard a guess? Has anybody gone through this process? Is anybody in the middle of this right now? Does anybody want to share? There's a few of you haven't said hello. If you want to say hello, don't be shy. Let us know who's on. You don't have to. You have to lurk in the shadows. That's all right. I'll find out afterwards who's been on. I think it does register actually. There's a whole new interface actually with Facebook, so you have to have your browser and everything updated, and there's all bits and pieces to it. So yes, so basically the main way when you think about how do you go looking for something online, nobody goes online really to buy. We go on finding information, and we type into the Google or whatever search engine you use. Most people use Google or Yahoo actually. But now we've got there's Sue. Hiya, Sue from La Manchica. Yeah, nice to see you on there. Thanks for saying hello. So yes, so people will go to the search engines. We're now using, the search engines are now using Facebook. They're now using YouTube because it's all a part of the Google family. You have to use your Google account to get into YouTube. You can use Google to get into Facebook. You can set it up that way. There's Dawn. How you, Dawn? So now when you register things and set up your business online and put things and products and your services that you're selling, those Google actually gives preference to those things because it's all part of the family. So it's all a bit incestuous in that sense, in a technology way. But that's the way it works. So we have to get smart with it. So you can do it very basic in terms of just going into your search bar and typing in. If you type in a search, it will try and preempt what you're actually going to type, and then work back from that. So you can select it, or you can just keep typing. That's what I would call, so we're talking about the Goldilocks. If you want to write this down, the Goldilocks strategy. That's the baby bear. Okay, so this is Goldilocks trying different things out. She tried out the chair, she tried out the porridge, she tried out the beds. But she was looking for what she wanted, wasn't she, at the end of the day? And that's what you want. You've got a goal here. You've got people, you're trying to find the right people to sell to. And that's what it comes down to. It's just finding out what your audience wants and giving it to them. Now, that mightn't necessarily be what you want, but there's ways and means to find that out. And some of the basic ways to do that are with the search, typing it in and seeing how Google tries to complete it. Some people have done this as part of a joke, actually, even on Twitter. They've typed in how to see what people are looking for, how to do when they're in lockdown. So that has been quite funny. Things that people are trying to do in their home, apart from cutting hair. I definitely need one myself. So those type of strategies, those basic ones, are all the baby bear ones. There's all the smaller things you can do. You can go to Amazon to see if anybody written a book or an ebook about it. And if you want to do an ebook, if you want to do the podcast, you can go into Apple, Spotify, things like that. Now, don't get dismayed. I've found out over the years, people have always like, well, somebody else is doing this, or somebody else has got 20 or 30 years experience, so there's no point in me trying to do it. Well, there's every point, because everybody does it with their own recipe and does it in a different way. Okay, just making sure I see your comments here. I think we're yeah, that's the bottom of them there. I'm always conscious I might miss somebody out. But any questions that are sparking off, don't feel free to fire them in there, and I'll look at them for you. If you've got an existing website, I won't have a chance to look at it, but you can email me afterwards, okay? And I can have a look at it for you there as well. This is, oh, Sue, stay safe. We'll be in touch after lockdown. Get you to come do a demonstration. Okay, no problem. As long as I don't have to wear a mask. It's a bit hard to talk and those things. So yes, so you can look at Amazon, you can look at podcasts and YouTube. There's every amount of how-to videos. In fact, an example that springs to mind was a guy who was very passionate about playing the guitar. Let's see, about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was, and he was in a band and things like that. And he says, you've loads of experience, absolutely hated his job of what he was doing, working in the city, and wanted to get out. And his passion was definitely the guitar and the band. And we looked at different things, and we found there was a niche within the rock guitar niche, believe it or not. And that was something that he was into all the rock and heavy metal and things. And we looked at that and we found some things like that. Oh, hey, Debbie, nice to see you. There's Dawn saying, where are you? I am at home. Home in Spain. Jim is saying PowerPoint 2020. Love the paper picture. Yeah, Debbie, you're missing the high tech, all expenses spared. But this will be your baby as such, So Oops, there's Facebook firing up questions and things. Right. So yes, no, it's just last night I couldn't get the screen was glaring. We couldn't get the screen showing on the thing. I thought, you know what? I've seen other people use PowerPoints in their presentation, or not PowerPoints, flip charts. I don't have one. Hi to make Victoria smile. I should have worn a ponytail tonight, Jim. Anyway, so didn't forget about that. It's random what information you remember years later, isn't it? Anyway, so yes, so you're looking at what are we talking about? Yeah, YouTube, and hashtags are very important as well. We'll get to those in a minute. What was I talking about? I distracted myself there. Debbie's laughing. Debbie. We were talking about what was I? What's totally off track there with the PowerPoint or the high tech. I knew that would make you laugh, but Jim, sometimes you just have to revert back to basics. We were talking about putting in the how-to videos for no, I'm not saying anything about ponytails, Jim, don't worry. That's all right. Me and 50 of my best friends here on Facebook. So that was a joke. We still all work together, don't we? And we have the IT, what do you call that? The IT crowd back in Belfast. So sorry, get back on track then. So yeah, we're talking about Google will pick up the Facebook, all the social media sites first, and then it'll go into the website and other things like that. So it's important, even if your website has a blog, that's going to be just as important as anything is posted on Facebook on your account and things like that. And there's a way of checking it out. Yes, the guitar. Thank you. So yes, there was a niche within his niche. He had himself convinced that there was no way he could actually do this. Is that something he could do? But it more came down to his confidence about teaching. And it's a mindset thing. So even though somebody knows that has the knowledge, it's very good technically with everything, it came down. So that's where I started to look more at bringing my mindset coaching and getting people, it's almost like instead of programming their computer to do what it needed to do in terms of the website, programming the mind so the two are working together. And that's something I think is very important. Hey Claire, I'm glad to see you on. Claire has a very interesting question there earlier with an interesting market. So I'm glad you're on. I wanted to have a look at that for you, for everybody else. So yes, with the guitar guy, still thinking about it as far as I know. Whether somebody else is taking it up, I don't know. But even though you may think, oh, everybody's taking my market, or there's 5 or 6 good players in it, or there's 50 people doing it, there's still people doing makeup tutorials. There's still people doing about, dog grooming. There's still people doing all bits and pieces, because everybody will always do it in their own way. I mean, there's people who even make great money advertising just by taking the piss out of makeup. They're using their boyfriend, or they're taking the piss out of the makeup market in that sense. So TikTok is a good example of that, in terms of just giving people lighthearted relief. But there's also a way now of marketing on it and advertising on it, as long as you do it in a humorous and funny way, in that sense, or something that makes people think. So thank you, Debbie. You can keep me right there. So Jim is saying about programming the mind, are male and females on different operating programming languages? Yes, they are. One's on Mars, men are on Mars 2.0, and women are on Venus 12.0. Emotionally, anyway. Hopefully I'll answer your questions. We actually had that conversation one time. It's like, I can explain men and women, the difference between men and women. A woman's brain to a man in like 5 minutes. I think I did, didn't I? But anyway, Jim, stop distracting me. I'm trying to work here. We'll have our fun at the end. So yes, so don't be scared to think about, I asked you the 4 questions last night to do as a bit of a homework. Is Dawn saying, or getting into dress up as a nun? Yeah, that's another thing I'm guilty of. I got done dressed up as a nun. We were in a film together as extras. So you had 4 questions last night. You can distract me all you want. I'm going to keep on track this time. This is well, I prepared some notes, isn't it, to keep me right? No, it's all good crack. It's all good crack. I don't mind. We need it, don't we? I mean, we don't definitely need a laugh at this time. Is it just me? Is it warm? Okay, so it'll get me hot and bothered. Right. So between nuns and ponytails, Mars and Venus and whatever else, and rock guitars. We're off to a good start, isn't it? Don't say I own acres of land on them. Okay. Oh, yes, yeah. Okay. Right. I don't have time to get into that now. Maybe we should just all then at the end of this, just all we'll get on to Zoom and have a few drinks and talk properly and catch up properly. Right. You are definitely testing my memory here. So where was I at? Women 2.0. We were talking about research in your market. So are people actually looking for it? That's the first thing. So yes, if somebody else has already done the website, has already and you think yourself, no, there's no room for me. There's always places you can squeeze in, okay, and then go with that. Now maybe there's only so many layers you can go down with it, and that's fair enough. And you can move on to another one, but that's fine. You can have 5, 6, 10, 12, 20, 30, 50 websites, and keep them all ticking over. Some of them are going to be busy, some of them not so busy. That's fine. There's no right or wrong way to do it. As long as you're getting something, that's the main thing. Yes, hashtags. I was going to come to that, Sarah, on Twitter are fantastic. Between Instagram and Twitter, use hashtags so you can see what people are actually looking in. But Instagram, excuse me, takes it a little bit further in terms of you put in hashtags, say hashtag PowerPoint 2020, and it'll actually show how many people have used that hashtag. So you know it's not so popular, but then you can go too far the other way. But the whole key thing is you can look up, there's so many keyword programs. It used to be Google Keywords, keyword tool. Google keyword tool was the one to use. Now they've made it more difficult because they want you to subscribe to their AdWords and spend money. So it's hard to use it for free. So other software developers have come up with different programs, and there's so many. If there's something you want to look at, you can subscribe to them monthly. You can buy the software and it updates every so often for you. But the whole idea is that you're finding keywords that have plenty of people looking for them. And you can still get this in Google Keyword Tool, actually. You find loads of people looking for it, but not a lot of competition. And it'll tell you if the competition's high, medium, or low. And sometimes there's loads of people looking, give anything from 100 to 1,000. That's quite low, but it shows a market that's also waiting to be developed. So you could get in at the entry level there and brand something and take it to the next level. There's a lot of people have done that. The internet, that's what I love the internet for, is it's so creative. Who would have thought you could call a taxi an Uber and things like that? There's these things didn't exist. Google, let's Google that. It's now become a part of everyday language. Jim is saying, seriously, it's important to have consistency for brand creations on websites. And consistency is key, definitely. That's what I was saying last night when I came on. There was no point in me just like coming on. Then I realized actually there's a demand here. So I'm going to, and that's why I've got that high tech as well. I keep sticking to this. So if somebody comes to me as a coaching client and they're saying my website's not working, and I go through these steps, there's always something that's underdeveloped or they've missed out completely. Or maybe they've done 2 or 3 things out of the 8. No, there's bits and pieces. We can go deeper with that. There's more layers to that. But this is something I've been teaching, Jim, would you believe it, since 2008. I worked it out one day. I was actually sitting in the garden in the sun with a cat beside me and started to look at how can I structure this. And I used to do so many presentations on that. And it's still relevant, even with the development of social media and using our mobiles, it's still very relevant. So I'm going to get through 5 of them this week. We'll look at branding and development, because obviously that's important, and then email marketing, social media, because I think you'll relate more to those. But yeah, consistent. There's no point in doing something one week and then doing something 3 weeks later and things like that. You think of the actual media and the press themselves, every day there's something there, and we don't expect you to do something every day, maybe post 2 to 3 times a week. But there's different ways of doing that, and people go at it like a bit of like a machine gun, I suppose, and they just fire out the bullets everywhere and hope something hits. And that's no good to anybody. There's no message behind it. There's no thinking. There's no strategy. And it's just, Okay, Jim, I can't look at website now because it'll take me off my screen, but I can look at that afterwards with you and see what things are missing for you. So that's good. It's online bookings. Is that photography, is it? What is it? Your book online for weddings. But yeah, I can look at that separately then. If you want to tell me a little bit more about it, what's your problem? If you're stuck somewhere, Jim, actually let me know, because of Claire and Sarah and you, then we can look at. Donna saying, yeah, I need help with that. I can't even work a phone. I think you need a PhD in IT to work a phone, or a PhD in stuff. Was not it, Jim? IT. Um, Belfast woman given the machine gun analogy. Of course. Everything comes down to dead bodies and bullets and bombs at the end of the day. It's your photography. Okay, then. So let us know something, Jim, if there's something you're particularly stuck on, whether it's want more clients, getting more exposure for your website. See what I did there? Photography, exposure. If there's more, let's see, if you want to follow, because you're like a one-off type business, unless the person gets married 2 or 3 times, but you've got the engagement photos, possibly wedding, and then maybe christening if you're going that far, or maybe you're just keeping it solely to the wedding photos. Sarah is saying, turns on a machine gun. I knew what you meant. Sarah's saying my website's homemade. Best bit is the pay button. Yes, and Jim said he'll focus on that. Okay, no problem. Yes, the pay button. Well, that's very easy to do in PayPal. Okay, so if you haven't looked at that, there's loads of tutorials. PayPal gives you the code. PayPal's very secure now. And as long as you can access your website yourself, that's the key thing. When I talk to a lot of people about the websites, they don't know how to get into it. They have to keep going back to some programmer and maybe somebody's cousins, brothers, or whatever done it. And Jim Senny does the honeymoon pictures. Jim, keep it clean. You shouldn't have any problem getting customers that way or getting money that way. There's certain websites you can post those videos on. So I hear. Is anyone wondering, getting distracted? Hope you're having as much as a good time as I am. And this is without drink. Oh, good grief. Yeah, so the pay button, say, remember, where's that? PayPal, very good then. So if you can access it yourself, you can put the description of the service you're offering and then the pay button beside it. You can have drop-down menu, for different options. So if you put something that comes in different colors, or different packages at different prices, you can put those into a drop-down menu and take it from there. Sarah said, yes, it just doesn't look good. I don't trust people. Well, that's not good when you're working with people. And trust issues, I can tell you this from a coaching perspective, trust issues can play into money issues, because money is all about trust. Believe it or not, this is something, my first ever coaching course, I couldn't get my head around it. But I soon did when I realized it was affecting me. So yeah, but I can understand that. When it comes to something, it's like, it's no similar. When I go to mechanics, I'm kind of the similar thing as well. When I always say mechanic, I'll tell you any way you run your computer and your website, but I couldn't tell you what's under that bonnet other than where to put the water and the oil and things like that. And even now it's hard to, because everything just hooks up to the computer and the computer tells the mechanic what's going on, and everything's in little boxes and closed off. You can't even change a light bulb or headlight bulb in your car anymore. People who've had my websites have pulled plugs. We say that shouldn't be the case. You should have total control, Sarah. So make sure that's the case in future. Okay, that you have control of it. They're building it on you have access to the hosting as well as them. So maybe take a minute to actually go through that. So you have access to the hosting. The domain name is registered in your name. I've had people who have had the website and the domain name, and it's almost like their website's being rented to them and they didn't realize. And it's just they're just taking advantage. There's only a nice way I can think of it. It's like giving you a car and saying, right, that's your car and you pay this amount every month, and you think you're paying it, making the payments to own the car, but they're actually only leasing or renting you the car. So you have to be very careful sometimes. People don't really get away with that as much, and there are ways to build your website yourself. That's something I've been thinking about doing actually over the last couple of years. That's good. So domain name is in your name. Over the last couple of weeks was putting together tutorials just for the basics, so you can go in, see how to do it, just follow because when I do a website for somebody, I also do the tutorial video for them, in terms of here's how to log in the back, here's how to add text, delete text, put in pictures, add new pages, posts, do your search engine tags. I teach you all that. So you get the whole enchilada, so to speak. And then if you decide, you know what, Becky, I'm going to Honolulu or I'm doing whatever and I need to go wherever, I can't work with you anymore because whatever reason, that's fine. I'm not going to hold you to ransom. As long as you're getting what you need from your website and maybe I'm just part of the journey, that's okay. That's fine. There's Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Liz, of course, from Bangor. Yes, I moved to Spain, guilty as charged. This is the power of the internet, you see. Um, allows me to move around and take my laptop with me. So it's a nice place to be in lockdown, I have to say. Bit warm, but I'm coping. Sarah's given loads of XX out. Dang, that's where I went wrong. Okay. Oh. Whoa, okay. Anything for free photography, Sarah. I like it. Hope you well, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, we are working, we are doing some IT, but there's a bit of banter along the way. That's what happens when you have too many people in lockdown, from Northern Ireland especially. Oh goodness, my classes, I have to say, when I was teaching offline, it used to send me around all the business enterprise centers to teach, especially in social media. I was teaching Microsoft Office programs and social media and everything. Jimmy, I think Jim's married anyway, aren't you? Maybe you can change religion and add another one. And Claire said, I still hear music from that. Yes, well, they've stopped the clapping, but yes, there is music. There has been music up until last week, until this new phase that we've gone into for the lockdown. There was music up until about Sunday night. We had some Europop some nights, and we had brass band music other nights, and we have a lonely guy who practices his trumpet. I've got videos of that. Actually, you should post them. You should make a wee movie of them, Claire, if I have a spare 5 minutes. Right, so we were talking about how to find out if people are interested in your products and services. So so we did look at ways you can do market research. I mean, there's all sorts of ways. There's a website called Udemy, Udemy. There's let's see, what else do we have? Well, Gumtree's pretty good, and Groupon as well. You can see what people are buying in there. When you can do Groupon, they're actually doing online courses now, but you can also see what products, and it tells you how many people bought that. So if they're selling a product at £20 and 50 people bought it, you know, it's old, and it's this red Jim says it's old and married. It's easy to work out if there's a market for that as well, but maybe they've got a way to improve on it, or maybe you can just cash in your used to stop having having a whole marriage, breaking up a marriage here, become Mormons. Yes, Elizabeth, I am indeed. I have a website for that. If you want the details, I'll send you those afterwards. Just anybody wants to message me. If you're just here for the banter, that's great. Just private message me and I'll get it afterwards. Okay, I'll get to the questions. And Claire's saying, yes, lots of Game of Thrones extras. Yes, definitely, because the beards and all the hair colors come out. And NHS Tiles video, I think so. I've seen quite a few bits with NHS. They've got all the rainbows on balconies here as well. And Sarah's converting Jim to be a Mormon. Okay, fantastic. I'm glad you used your sword. We'll get you into a new business, Sarah. Matchmaking. So yes, so that's the baby bear, all the sort of ground level strategies in terms of keep going, I'm learning loads. Sarah, we're doing a great job distracting your woman. You are. I'm letting you, but Dawn says, I'm moving in with you. I'm taking a year's break. Okay, so Jim's getting married to Sarah. Dawn's moving in with me. Fantastic. This has been such a productive session. I haven't even got to 30 minutes yet, you know. So yeah, those are all the ground level, what I would call the baby bear strategies in terms of just finding the basics, okay? Now, the next one then, mommy bear, is when you find somebody doing similar things to you, and then you start to look at a level of, or start to look at what they're doing at a level of promoting, okay? So do you see their adverts anywhere? Are they taking out, you know, on the sponsored ads on Google, are they doing that? What price are they charging for it? So you're seeing, and if somebody else is already out there doing it and clearly making money in advertising, then there's a market for it, okay? And there's no harm. It's like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, to name a very popular example in that sense. Everybody will have their own preference. So we can find, if you've heard of the term affiliate or associate programs, ClickBank is a very popular one. There's people who have become millionaires out of ClickBank. You go in, you find an information product, you promote it. You don't have to say it's your own. You're just promoting it on behalf of somebody, and you end up mommy bear at the porch. Mummy Bear's trying to promote. Oh, Esther, stop it. But you're not going to get the stage. I'm just going to go and pour a glass of wine. Yeah, look at my t-shirt. I was trying to hide that. Last night I had a t-shirt with gin on it, but nobody could see it. Is anybody lost or is it just you? Yeah, Jim, you're the reason we're all lost. You're lost and you're trying to take us down a dark hole with you. Alice in Wonderland. Yes, we'll look at your shovel business. You're obviously going into the graveyard. There's actually, oh God, yeah. There's a good business for that at the moment, Esther, isn't there? I'll say no more about that. Yeah, Mummy Bear had her porridge this morning, Jim, funny enough, with blueberries. It's quite nice. It's quite healthy. We'll not mention the pizza later on, But so you're finding somebody with similar products and then having a look at theirs. So I'm gonna soldier on. I've got a mission here tonight. And then Daddy Bear, now this is where you have to listen up. So yes, Dom, there's a ceasefire over there. Thank God, it's about time. So the Daddy Bear strategy is a hard and heavy one where you actually build a landing page. Okay, you build a page for people come to, and Jilly said I've missed that laugh. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn, for spreading the love as well. So you build a page with the product on it, the information, and then all you're doing is looking at who actually hits the buy now button. So when people go through and hit the buy now, you'll actually be able to see that in some shape or form. That could be through a PayPal button or through any sort of shopping cart system. There's WooCommerce, there's Shopify, there's free trials. But all you're doing is testing the waters to see, are people actually willing to take their credit card out and pay for this at a certain price? And you can keep changing the price. It's a wee bit naughty in that there's no actual product for them at the end of it. But all you do is if it's an information product, you'll say, look, we're out of stock at the moment. Or sorry, if it's a physical product, we're out of stock at the moment. Or we're refilling our stock at the moment. Leave your name, and so you get their username or get their email address, name and email address, and then you'll update them when you're ready to actually, when you realize there's a market, you can go back to them. If you're only getting a handful of people and you think, no, it's not a go, then that's fair enough. You haven't lost anything. I've come across one person who just went and bought a garage full of stuff and then tried to, machine gun the internet with it, and you're not going to get anywhere with that. That's what happened in the end of it. It was foam products or something for kids, from my memory. And she was asking me, how can we do it? And I was like, well, she covered everything in terms of annoying friends and family, gum trade, you name it. There was just no market for it, which is obviously why she got them cheap and all the rest of it. But that was just a lesson learned. So you can actually test the market without having to do it and go into a lot of expense. For an information product, you can just say, look, we're upgrading. We've got extra information. We're upgrading our information product. Whether it's an ebook, a video course or something like that, you're just saying you're upgrading it. If it takes you 3 days to write the course, just say, look, we'll have that ready for you in 4 days' time, and send it out to them. And maybe give them a little bit cheaper as well for their patients. So there's ways and means of doing this before you actually go live with it. Okay. Sarah likes her porridge with grapes and bananas. And Esther. Yeah, Jim, if you're becoming Mormon, you could marry Esther as well. Esther and Jim would get on too well. Well, actually, you and Sarah would as well. You all got a similar sense of humor. I should now charge for being the connector here. I should be, Cupid. Cupid.com. Right. So, any questions on that? Anybody want to ask anything? Let's see. So we got through. Yay! We got through the Goldilocks strategies. I've got some mindset questions as well. There's also some websites. If you want to see what's popular in Amazon, you can go to junglescout.com. Okay, there's a little tip for you. Hot tip alert. And you've also got TerraPeak, TerraPeak. Not peak as in peekaboo. It's peak as in peak of a mountain. TerraPeak.com will tell you what's popular on eBay. Don't forget good old eBay. Lots of people selling online courses there, information products, things like that. No questions from you, Jim, because you're shy. Yes. So Claire, straight in there with a question. Yay, I like your style. How do you get emails off Facebook? Okay, so you can't get them off Facebook physically. What you have to do is you have to lure people into clicking on something, go back to your web page or website or a web page. You don't necessarily need a website, and say, I'm going to give you, like my meditation site, there's a free relaxation meditation. So people put their name, email address in there. So you're given a snippet about it on Facebook. So there'll be something there if you want a free relaxation meditation. I'm gonna need one of these after this. Free relaxation meditation. I put your name and email address in, and then it's automatically sent to them. The link to download it and listen to it in MP3. And I've put it up on a private link on YouTube. I've done it that way. So that's one way of doing it. You can do then similar with Instagram. So basically, treat your web page or website as a central hub, and then you've got all these feeder sites around it. But you will eventually find out. This is why a lot of people don't know that Twitter have an ad system as well. So you've got Twitter ads, you've got YouTube ads. You can monetize your YouTube for advertising, and you've got Facebook ads. The Facebook ads can be a bit of a minefield, but I found a guy, New Zealand guy, actually Kiwi, who explained Facebook ads quite simply. Made it simple to understand, so you're not throwing a lot of good money away and things like that. But it comes down, you have to know the message, you have to know your demographics. I was talking about that more last night. And your demographics have to be active on Facebook. Now that would be ideal for you, Claire, in terms of, because you're targeting parents, aren't you, like 5 to 11-year-olds? Yes, Gareth, just further questions in. Anything goes tonight. We're having a laugh and doing some work at the same time. Good to see you. I hope you're on the rum. I should have got some for Okay, so I'll come to you in a minute, Sarah, about Twitter. I will be looking at social media more on Thursday, no, Friday night, if this can make it till Friday. I don't know. It started off as a good idea yesterday. But no, we're looking more at research at the moment, Gareth and Sarah. And that's okay. This is all to do with it as well, because you're trying to suss out where your market is. It's like you've got all these little ponds all over the internet, and then you've got your fishing rod, and you're trying to see, who's going to bite, what bait you need to get the fish to bite. Okay, so hope that answers your question, Claire. If you have anything else to ask about that, let me know. Gareth, let us know your question. So Sarah said, what market age and people type are Twitter and Insta? Okay, how long is a piece of string? What it's easier to do, if you're asking me a question privately, some people message me privately and they're saying, how do I start a podcast? Let me know, first of all, that you've got some goals around it. So what are you trying to achieve online, first of all, whether it's for money, whether it's for whatever, marketing for an offline business, something like that. And let me know what people you think you're targeting as such. Because sometimes people think, yes, this product will go to this market. And then when we look at it, we realize they're actually got another market. With Twitter, you get a lot of PR, you get a lot of journalist people, you get ad agencies, you get a lot of government as well. Government are trying to be modern, so they're using Twitter. You can get all sorts, but if it's you specifically with your coaching and reading, Sarah, is that what you're, you could get it, but I think you'd be more towards courses, ebooks, information products would be really good for you, Sarah, to look into Twitter. And Instagram would be more a snippet of a video. So you can use Instagram where you put up a snippet of your a video on a course and just put, the first 5 minutes and then say, for the rest of the course, click here. And you're always bringing them back to your Facebook or it's better with your website. I always have this, worst case scenario paranoia going on where, Facebook could just disappear or it could merge or it could change its algorithms. So I always try to bring people back to something that I have control of, i.e. my website. Yes, so teaching your workshop. So if you were doing something where you're actively involved yourself and video it, it's a bit like these. I'm taking these Facebook Lives and I'm also putting them on YouTube, but then I'm also taking the audio out of them and I'm going to put a PowerPoint slide presentation to it. So it's got my voice, but I'll have more high-tech, Jim. I'll actually have pictures and bits and pieces. So, but there'll be more information on it, so I can develop a course around that. So, Esther, that's a great question for you. You've got lots to share. Claire, let me know if there's anything else you want to know. I don't know if you're still there. Esther, on a serious note, What do you want to start your blog about? What do you feel expertise you have? What would you be interested about about writing about? A good wee thing is if there's something that you're interested in learning, a lot of people do that as well. When I first started out, there was no, it was 2001 when I started this. So other than doing business studies and all that, I hadn't really any internet marketing or internet business experience. There's no courses to do. So I went about it in such a way that I put myself out there. I knew more than the average Joe in the street. But when people came to me and said, you know, well, I need this and I need that, I go back to the developers and say, okay, they need the technology to do this. And they'd say, okay, well, it does this and this. So I learned by being the in-between person and effectively got paid to learn. But then, you know, I could keep tabs, I could keep up with the subscriptions, and I always have. I mean, throughout this lockdown and even before that, I'd be sitting here in the evenings or sometimes first thing in the morning watching a webinar. That's my TV, it's a webinar. It sounds sad, but you know, it's my way of keeping, because it's the only way the industry, the internet, you can't really buy books as such because it changes so much. You know, there's so much going on with search engines and you know, different ways of getting PR and different things of how to partner with other people. So that's $1 million question, Sarah. How do you earn with blogs? So yes, Esther, let me know, first of all, Esther, you let me know what you would be interested in. Just something, just so we can work with it. You know, give me a wee bit of clay here to mold for you. And Sarah's saying, I thought they were out there for free listening. I thought they were out for free listening. Who's that? I don't know. Maybe because I'm on another train of thought here. But say, for example, Esther, you want to start a blog on, let's see, certain types of flowers in the garden. I know you joke about gardening shovels and things like that. But say, on a serious note, you wanted to go into a specific type of gardening. So it's finding out, you know, through those mommy bear, daddy bear, and baby bear strategies I was talking about, and you find out, yeah, there's actually people in a pond, they're hungry fish, looking for somebody with the information I have. And basically any ebook or course or things like that, it's actually putting together information to save people time and money. People aren't buying the product just because, you know, for the good of their health. They're at, well, unless it's about fitness and health, but they're buying it to save them time. You're basically selling them convenience. They don't want to sit for 2 weeks the way you have, or spend the last, you know, you spent the last 10 years. They don't have that time and energy to spend. So it's going to cost them something like 30, 40 quid and get all the books they want. You know, there was a guy who did this with actually different countries. When the EU started adding new countries, he would go to Croatia and find out how to buy a house in Croatia. When Hungary joined, when Latvia, and all these different, what's the other one that was very popular? Riga. Is it Latvia? I don't know. If I haven't been to, my geography's bad. If I haven't been to the country, I'm very poor knowledge on it. So he was doing these little ebooks. And then when people added in, and then he found out countries that, you know, so when people were investing, you know, they were investing in houses and things like that. Then when the country joined the EU, obviously the house prices would go up. So he was helping a lot of investor, you know, business investor types make money that way. So, you know, it's good to keep an eye on the news for those reasons, to see what's going on. Like at the moment, if you go in, like one of those websites I mentioned, and find out what are people buying online and Amazon to have at home. People are doing like online, or not online, but they're selling online like spa experiences, like a spa kit, and you can treat you and your family, you know, like a mother and 2 daughters can have their spa evening and things like that. There's a shortage of certain types of wines and things, especially in the UK. I don't think so much in Europe, here in Spain especially, but there's, you know, I've heard people saying that they go to the off license or go to Tesco's, and there's things they just can't buy at the moment. Because people are stocking up. They're still stocking up regardless. So it's finding out what's there. And it may be only a short burst, but if you can turn on the tap and get a wee bit to come into your bank account, then why not? That's what it's all about. But there will be the few things, you know, there's no right or wrong. If you just keep testing things and tweaking it and have fun with it, you know, it's like anything. If you fall in love with the process and enjoy it, you'll actually, then you'll just get to that point where something clicks. And I'll just keep going, and you just keep you just need to keep tinkering with it. So I know I was just asking Claire, was there anything else you wanted to ask around getting email addresses? Because I was saying last night, that's what sparked your question, wasn't it? The only reason you should have social media accounts and things are to set up a way of gathering email addresses. So social media is there. Yes, it's to interact and ask questions and things like that, if that's what you want to do. A lot of people use it as an admin facility. You know, you can contact EasyJet on Twitter, Ryanair, but companies like that, and they'll give public responses. Now, somebody, there's always somebody who's up for the laugh. Some guy registered himself as like Boots customer service and things like that. You have wine in your taps. Not yet, but yeah. Not yet, but that's a very good idea. I was actually just going to put a wee hose in the back of David's there. He goes to open up eventually, and that's all gone. It's like, oh dear, I wonder where that went. No. So yeah, Claire, so give me an idea if you're something you want to sell at the moment, then and give yourself a bit of publicity here. And then we'll look at ways that we can get an email address of people. What would motivate or inspire people to give you their email address in exchange for that? Especially parents at the moment, because I know there is a joke, we're joking about wine in the house, but there's a joke about parents filling up their coffee mug with gin and things like that, and first thing in the morning to get their kids through whatever online schooling they're doing at the moment as well. It's just bizarre because the whole world has had to go online, and I've been sitting here the last few years like, oh, doing my online thing, and now suddenly everybody has to do it. So that's what I thought myself, well, I'll get on here and see who's serious, who wants to laugh. And if we make any money and enjoy ourselves along the way, sure, it's all good, isn't it? So Claire said, I'm working really hard on content without much knowledge. Okay, so this will come down to your keywords. So you need to get serious then about any of the keyword tools. Ideally, you should have between 100 to 150 keywords, and then you pepper those keywords, Esther, and Sarah, this is for you, pepper those keywords into your blog. Okay, so you don't overdo it. You just put enough in that there's somebody types in those keywords that come up. So every article you write, those keywords, so the keywords can be your inspiration. I was doing that recently for somebody that you may know who's a Reiki person as well as works with, they're a TV person. We found out that some of their angelic products that they had and services that they offer were actually very well searched for. And she had no idea about this, and she'd been promoting things with tarot, and she was promoting things with crystals or whatever. And it turns out, yeah, she was going to, she could make a life a lot easier for herself with just using the word angel or angelic in it. So Claire said, I'm interviewing celebrities about cool science. Yes, that's interesting. That would be definitely a Twitter one, actually. You get a lot of people on there with the hashtags. You could, because of the celebrity aspect. And Instagram's very good for celebrities and stuff like that. So Claire, yeah, if you've got a page that you can just call blog and then updates. But WordPress is brilliant because it's actually a blogging system. And Google will index that a lot quicker. So if you've got a page on a WordPress site, you'll automatically something with a blog, and it's actually set up. But this is where you get a bit more technical. This is the eye glaze and stuff. You need to get meta tags in the search engine. The Google Analytics code needs to go in there so you can see where people are coming from, if they're coming at all. But never set up a website or a web page and never have any way of tracking what's coming onto it. It's just madness. You're missing out on, you're just leaving money on the table in that sense. So Esther says she's selling her old suite. Gumtree or Facebook Marketplace. There you go, answered that. So you're not in Twitter or Insta. Okay, so that's maybe something to try out over the next week or so and see how you get on, and see if anybody else doing it and what celebrities you're interviewing, or has anybody already interviewed them. It's something you can get more into in that sense. Chelsea, I don't know, for some reason Facebook is not a big celebrity type market. They have public pages there, but I think because it's the phone thing, people are more on their phones, so celebrities can take a selfie, Kim Kardashian is the queen of that, and take a picture and stick it on through the phone. There's no messing about, there's no having to send it to anybody. They can just do it and control it themselves, so that's why. So yeah, maybe setting up a blog, getting some keywords for the searching aspect of it, and taking it from there. So I have some mindset questions as well. Just to, every day is a learning day. It certainly is on the internet. It certainly is. And you can stay sober. So mindset around, for the people who are serious about setting up something long term, it's finding your inspiration. That's why it's important that you find something that you're passionate about, that you're interested in. So when you're having that crappy day or just feeling fed up with the world in general, and you feel that the world's fed up with you, something that will keep you going. I'm trying to think of an example that I would use. So yeah, I used to have low days where I'm just like, oh, this is hard work. I shouldn't have bothered with this internet stuff. It's too nerdy. It's nobody's interested. Yada yada. And then I would think about, if I applied for a job, at Sunday I would have to, I get so many holidays a year, or so many, days off, and I have to go and ask for holidays. I mean, I'm self-employed for 19 years now. So the fact of going to have to ask somebody, could I take next Monday to Wednesday off? That's what keeps me inspired to keep doing what I'm doing, and keep motivated as well. So it's finding your inspiration and your motivation with what you're doing, and how you helping people. A lot of people set goals in terms of, I want to help 50 people to do X, Y, Z. And if you're focusing on about how you're helping people as well, that keeps the creativity going, believe it or not. So I suppose that was my inspiration for this week, in terms of, well, how many people would be interested in, how many people would this help, how many people would be actually interested in this. And if I can make it fun and interesting, as well as helping you, then it's all good in that sense. And then it's just sometimes just allowing things to happen, because sometimes we try to force things, and if you're not aware of timing, it's sometimes things that we can think about things. Like I thought about this on the Sunday, and then it took me all day, the rest of the day, and then all day Monday to sort of let it all formulate in my mind. I can be sitting here and I can be doing this, that, and the other. But I just allowed it, went and sat with a cup of tea in the sun for a while, and let ideas come in. And I just all let it all come together. So sometimes you just have to allow things to happen. You can't force things. The internet's a very physical thing, even though we can't actually see the internet. We can see it through our computers. It's a very intangible thing at the same time. I could go and talk to anybody about their website, and they kind of had an idea, but I'd end up drawing out me silly pictures and use my high-tech drawings, Jim, and explain to them how their website would work. But once they saw it designed, or a draft of it, then something became more real, and then they got more excited about it, So it's until we see something with our own eyes that we start to invest more in it. So what were you asking there? Every day is a learning day. So Facebook. Oh yeah, no, I was saying about celebrities would use Twitter and Instagram more. Definitely. Now, somebody was asking me about Pinterest. I haven't really got into that because there's not a lot of traffic goes to it. So unless the traffic improves, but a lot of people are using Pinterest as a vision board and then posting things up that way. So you can use it for that reason if you're into law of attraction, vision boards, that side of things. But no, if you're looking for celebrities to interview, Claire, I would say Twitter and Instagram, and then have links back. You can put in your website there and what you're doing. There's a little bio section in Instagram and Twitter. They're very similar because of the hashtags, but they'll also let you find the celebrities that you're looking for in relation to certain areas. So hopefully that will help you. Any ideas, Esther, for your blog? Do you want to share, or you're going to focus on selling your suite? Oh, goodness. And then Sarah, yeah, you're saying about your courses. I mean, that's ideal for the courses as well, because what you do is it's a very personal thing. I missed your comment there, Claire, about David Attenborough. So David Attenborough's cameraman taught us about the Arctic and Antarctica. You see, that's actually something most people would be interested in, because it's something, if you've got an interest in geography and travel. So there's maybe two aspects to that. I know you're working with the educational side of it, so you're not short of people to interview. So once you do the interviews, is that what it is? You use the interviews to sell? You just want more people to see the, okay, yeah, that's okay. So right, okay, so you can use the hashtags for the celebrity that you're interviewing. So you can post, right, so you post up on YouTube, first of all, and use the hashtag system there that they have. You have to look into that more. I can make a shout about that if you want. And then hashtag the celebrity, but then also hashtag, you need to look at the parents. So what is it's a forward for the child in terms of, is it a geography lesson, history lesson, things like that. Today you would have loved my talk. It was a writer able at science TV shows. It was a writer for TV science shows. Is that what you're saying? So I do. I always had a fascination with chemistry. It was one of the things, you mix this and you mix that and things explode and all the rest of it. That was, that's the part of science I enjoy as well. But at school, I got really interested in computers for some reason. We had Apple Macs and then we moved over to those big clunky BBC things. And in A level, we tried programming, and I'm like, maybe not. So we were hearing about making a 5 meter paper aeroplane, fantastic, that carried a crash test dummy propelled by elastic bands. Right. Ah, well, do you know who'd be interested in that? But that mightn't be. Let's see. You could try it and see just for a toe in the water. Try Lad Bible because they like things like that because that's very, boys and their toys. But you might appeal to the fathers and obviously girls watch it as well. But you've also got Lad Baby because that's a family orientated thing. So you might be able to say, could you do some sort of even joint venture? That could be, take it to the next level in that way. Because some that's educational, but those are very sort of like doing experiments. There's how many videos are there out there have you seen? Somebody's getting a bottle of Coke and putting Mentos in it, Mentos sweets. I mean, come on. But there's somebody on TikTok, they've got their granny to do it and she didn't know what she was doing. And she put all the Mentos in and the whole thing just exploded in her face. So there's things like that. But yeah, things like that appeal to that. It goes back to that Dom Jolly back in the day. Yeah. I mean, you don't know. This is a good thing about the internet. It levels the playing field. So some you can contact your favorite celebrity. You can hashtag them on Twitter. You can, because there might be people, well, the one that's good at doing it, Claire, is a mutual friend, isn't it? Lawrence Doherty. He is fantastic when he does his acting bits and pieces and extras. He hashtags people, celebrities, and he's had celebrities reply to him on Twitter as well. So, but things like that, where it's a scientist thing, but there's also like YouTube influencers who do things like that. I'm trying to think. I can't think of one offhand, but I'm sure if you start looking, you'd find it. I think the granny one was a setup. Yeah, a lot of them are set up, and it's obvious they're set up, but there's still good humor. If you're if you're bored. Are you not expecting it? Maybe you just think, there's one where I loved it actually. The mother, she got a carrot and put it, I know, so it was her finger, and then covered it in, she got fake blood and she had it all there and she pretended she'd cut her finger out. And the kids, I felt sorry for the kids because they're probably traumatized. But it's interesting you see, and I hate all these videos now. There's boyfriends pranking their girlfriends and the girlfriends pranking the boyfriend, and you think to yourself, how do they stay together? Because some of the things they're very harsh. Claire sent, we tried to get Ian Beatty to do a video for this week, but he didn't reply. Okay. What's Ian Beatty? Or who he's saying? I don't know who he is. Sorry. I'm just going to be honest with you. But maybe he's got his own stuff going on. Esther's saying, I'm interested in making things like beautiful home improvement. But you see, well, you could do that. That's very simple. If you've got the means to do that in your house in some way, or you don't even have to. You could be. I was talking last night about two ways. You either become the expert, Esther, or you become the person who helps the experts. So you could go and find simple ideas. I mean, there's all these ones online who are remaking their kitchen just by painting the kitchen cupboards and painting the tiles and putting fancy things and designs on the tiles. So you could find all the people who've done that, Esther, interview them for your blog or your podcast, or just get these sound clips of them, or put them in the blog and say, this is about your kitchen, this one's about your bathroom, and things like that. If that's something that you're genuinely interested in, then why not? Because if you've got that enthusiasm for it, that's what's going to attract people, because they can see that you're genuinely interested and want to help. If you've got no passion for it whatsoever, it's going to come across. So he was a Game of Thrones, okay. All I think is, see, this is where LinkedIn's quite handy. LinkedIn, you can go and see how many connections you are with. If he's on LinkedIn, not everybody is, that's the thing. But if he's on LinkedIn, and you can see how many connections you are with, and you can find somebody that you can talk to him. Sometimes you just need the introduction that way. Who else do you know? Game of Thrones is a bit higher up, in that sense. It's always about, it's not what you know, it's who you know sometimes. Or maybe try him again. You know, maybe just didn't get it. Maybe he's just busy at the moment. Maybe he's just having time out. We don't know. Everybody's reacting differently to the whole lockdown thing. So I can do about one more question, and then I'm going to wrap up and let you all get on with your evening. Get back to your wine taps, Debbie. It's as well as not wine in my taps, especially for your dog. So where should you have your blog? Is that a link in your website? Yeah. So just set up a page. If you send me the link to your website, if you Facebook it to me, I'll have a look at it and tell you where's best to do it. You want to do it somewhere where Google can pick it up, because Google will come to your site. And the more often you update your website, the more Google comes to it. So if you update your website 2 to 3 times a week, fantastic. If it's only once a week, that's fine. But just Google then gets to know this is somebody that's updating their site, and the more updated websites, and more often is up sites, you know, more often websites. I'm gonna not drink. The more often the website is updated, the more Google will come to it and then index it. Okay. For the keywords, and that's why it's good to have a list of your keywords, and then keep peppering them in. You're just feeding, you know, sprinkling seeds onto the website that way, and Google will pick up on that, and soon then Google gets to know your, rather than like maybe 10 or 20 keywords, it starts to get to go to 50 or 60 keywords. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. A bit more serious tonight in terms of the content, but I'm glad you and Jim had your got your relationship sorted out there. And good to see you as well, Debbie. I'm going to get catching up with you then shortly in the next hour or so. But yeah, I hope that helps you as well. But anybody wants to come talk to me, I'm not really here to sell. I do offer coaching programs for all different types of budgets and things like that, and ebooks and things and video tutorials. There's all sorts of content lurking around here. But I just want to get on and reach out to people and say, like, you know, don't be suffering in silence. Don't be thinking, okay, I just have to sit here and live on beans and toast. There's no point. We don't know how long this is going to go on for. There is talk about, and especially in the UK, I read something yesterday, was it October, that a lot of people might be furloughed. Is it furloughed or furlonged or whatever? I don't know. Furloughed. To me, a loch is a lake in Ireland, you know. But Jim's on his cocoa. Yeah, he must have had an early night now. And Claire's saying, good, you've got plenty of homework. Thank you, we love it. You're very welcome, Claire. It's nice to connect with you. Okay. And Esther's saying you're such a clever senorita. Enjoyed tonight, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it and you got my brain. I'm glad we had a bit of a laugh as well. I don't mind. We have to have a laugh. And Debbie saying we got your face ticking. I got your face ticking. Got your brain ticking. I'm looking at Esther's wee laughy face. You got my brain ticking, which is great. You're very welcome. But yeah, no, I'm sure I'll give you a shout after this and see what you're thinking. And Heidi is saying, I'll listen back because I don't know which questions you've already answered. That's all right, yeah. That's a good thing about this. Okay, then, well, I'll let you get on with it. And thank you so much for tuning in. And if you just want to give me a quick yes or no, if you just want to come back tomorrow night, send me some questions in the meantime. I'll come back on. Technically, we're meant to be looking at the branding, building awareness, promoting your website, and developing the website. So if you've got any more technical aspects as well, we can look at those. We'll keep it, we won't get too deep, okay? We'll keep the deep questions for one-to-one, but you might as well pick my brain. You know, I don't mind for the hour that I'm here. Alrighty, and if anything else pops to mind, sure, you know where I am. Alrighty, it's a Sarah saying yes. Okay, so at least we've got one person for tomorrow night. But we'll probably get on to other subjects, I don't mind. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for the laugh as well. And we got through everything I wanted to say in terms of the technical aspects and the questions as well. So same time, Heidi, it's 8 o'clock UK time, which is 9 o'clock Spanish time, European time, Central European time. It's ET, isn't it? So yes, that's my excuse for not going walking with you. You can see I'm not lying. And Esther's saying yes. Yes, we could actually, Esther, I like your home decoration. It feels like there's depth to that. And I did say to you, there's some sort of project you need to get your teeth into. So have a look at people who are working or helping the experts. And Sarah saying, hola. And me too. Great, Debbie. No problem. Okay, then well, I'll see you lovely ladies. And hopefully Jim, if he's back again for more. Maybe he's away to look up Mormonism. All right, I'm going to find out how to end this for you. All right. Take it easy. Behave yourselves. Don't really. Okay. Bye.